So for me, I think it's 100% worth it.
Well, it's been a month and a half now of putting with the SIK putter. Time to have a look and see if it actually has been worth it. Stay tuned. Okay guys, so we're doing a little bit different this week in terms of I'm actually going back and having a look at all my performances so far with the SIK putter over the last month and a half. It's actually been probably about closer to 2 months since I picked up the putter now. I'm going to go back, have a look, see how my putting has gone with it in the minimal rounds that I've actually managed to play since then. But even though I have played minimal rounds, I have actually done a lot of putting practice with it. So be able to have a look, and I think you'll see some differences just in my overall stroke just on video, and going forward how I'm feeling and what I think of the putter so far. So the very first place to start, do I still like the putter? And answer easily yes. I think over all the putters that I've owned in the last 10 years, it's definitely the one that I've performed best with in terms of my comfort levels over the ball. Now obviously I have put a lot more work into my putting over the last 2 months, 3 months, even before I swapped to the arm lock putter. I put a lot more practice into it just because I knew going forward as a PGA member who's putting videos up on YouTube, I had a standard that I wanted to set myself to with my putting stroke. And as I mentioned in some of the other videos before, I got into the habit of just focusing more on the result of the putt, which is not a bad thing, not a bad thing at all, guys. We always want to make sure the ball gets in the hole, and that in some circumstances should be our #1 focus. But for me, during all my matches over the last few years, it's all been focusing on feeling comfortable and looking at the target in terms of getting the ball into the hole and not worrying too much about the stroke, which is good, but it kind of led to me not putting in or neglecting my putting, my actual putting technique a little bit in there. So as you saw in those earlier videos, and I didn't really notice it until I started doing a little bit more video work and putting some stuff on YouTube, is you saw where my stroke was, and you'll see up on the screen here, you saw, as I mentioned in the first video I did on arm lock, where my putting stroke was way on the inside during my takeaway. I'd set up with it with my shoulders closed. It was an overall mess. Closed shoulders at setup, take on the inside with a closed face and push out to the right through the ball. A lot of the time it led to me pulling my putts because of that closed face, and all those putts that I felt like I was hitting on line, I generally had to shove out to the right. So it was not a good spot to be in with my putting. And I'm thankful in many ways of the fact that I actually got to see it on video and started putting these videos up, because it made me and gave me that push I needed to actually start working on my putting again. Now, being able to get an arm lock putter and get my hands on an arm lock putter, I feel very, very thankful in it, because it's obviously we know they are quite expensive, guys. They're not the, if you're just looking at getting into golf, they're not the #1 cost for performance putter there is out there. It obviously sets you back a little bit. But in terms of my position to be able to pick one up, I'm very thankful I did, because it has really opened my eyes up to just what I could feel with my putting. Like, I didn't realize beforehand that you could have so much awareness over your putting stroke. I always thought over the putts, and again, partially because I didn't do enough practice, but I always felt sort of like, oh yeah, I set up here and kind of just go with emotions a little bit. And I'm pretty sure if you spoke to any of the good putters, right, then none of them are thinking about that when they're over the ball. All of them are confident in their stroke, they're all comfortable over the ball, and they're all trying to make their putts. Now, that brings me back full circle to the reason why I picked up the arm lock putter, is because I wanted to feel some of that. I wanted to make sure that, one, my putting stroke looked a lot better, because obviously having gone through and done the PGA course over here in Australia and becoming a PGA member, it's hard to explain. Like, you don't want to go out there and put stuff on there where you're trying to teach people how to do something correctly or do something in the right technique while you don't do it yourself. And I feel like if I'm going to be here trying to teach my students how to putt correctly, I can't be setting an example like I am where I'm neglecting my putting like this. And for me as a coach, that was very, very important. So it meant that I had to actually put in the work that I encourage all my students to do. And I feel like that, one, made me a better player and a better putter in general in such a short period of time. But two, it also puts me in a better stride when coaching as well, and being like, I understand the work, and it's hard to do the work, but it shows results. And being able to just level with my students a little bit more on that. Really helped me feel more comfortable in what I was doing. As I was saying before the camera decided it wanted to go all loopy, it made me feel a lot more comfortable in knowing that what I was doing was the right thing and the right way going forward for all my students. Now, in terms of my thoughts earlier in that first video compared to now, I mentioned a few cons in terms of what arm lock were, or cons for using the arm lock putter, probably better to say that way. The number one being, obviously, a lot of people think it should be banned. Me personally, as long as it is legal to use, I'm happy to use it. I have no issues with it. I still think there's an element of skill needed to be able to putt with it. I personally have definitely hit bad putts with it, guys. It doesn't make you the perfect putter. You still need to put effort into it, and I guess that's what I'm trying to explain a little bit is even with this sort of putter, you still need to put some effort into your putting and work on your putting. But the other issue that I also identified early on was what I thought would be speed control. And I thought just by my first few putts with it, right, guys, I'd have my shorter putts I thought I was all right with. My long distance, like 30 foot plus, I thought that was going to be really, like I'd struggle hard with that. And then while I was using it initially, I really struggled with the sort of 10 to 15 foot. I had a lot of them where that 6, 8, 10 foot putts, I'd put 6, 8, 10 foot past the hole. It either hit the back of the cup and go in, or it'd go that far past. The good side I found from it though, even in that part where I was adjusting to the speed, was that I'd make the second putt back. And like I said in that previous video, the ability to start your putts online was so much better, especially for me where I was struggling with my alignment. So much better. I just feel more comfortable in where I'm aiming and my ability to start a putt online. Overall though, distance control. Wow. I don't think my distance control has ever been this good. I played last Friday I played. And I would have had about 6 putts during the round, which were at that 25 to 30 foot range. Wasn't really hitting my wedge shots on my irons too good, but I had those length putts. I did not have a single 3-putt in that round. First time I'm going to say about 18 months. Not really a stat I was proud of is having 3 putts in my round. But I would normally average probably about 2 a round. And I felt like that was one of the spots where I was really losing shots or giving away shots to the field. So it really boosted my confidence when I saw those long distance putts. Where I had a few where were like up tiers, guys, and I was still hitting really good putts. I had a lot of long putts for tap-ins, and I made a lot of putts too. I think I made 4 1-putt birdies in that round as well. So overall distance control, I'm so happy with. It was such a big improvement that I didn't expect being the main thing that I would see better. In terms of the way that I'm noticing the launching of it with that with the descending loft technology they have in the SIK putters, man, like, not that I'm missing too many of them out of the middle, but it's amazing, guys, how much better and how much more confident you feel when you see the ball roll consistently every time. All right, let's compare the two. Right, let's have a look. We'll actually do 3. We'll do one with my old Scotty Cameron. We'll have it up on the screen here. We'll go left-hand side Scotty Cameron. Middle here, we've got my first sort of attempts with the arm lock putter, which you would have seen in that first video. And on the right-hand side, we've got here from the other day. You can see clearly, guys, a difference between first one with the Scotty Cameron and the second one, just how much difference there is. You can see that I'm still coming a little bit on the inside on that middle one with the arm lock putter there. But you can see that I'm a lot more aware of where that putter face is and where my stroke's going. And when we compare that to the putt on the right-hand side here on this redemption putt, now, when I hit this putt, I felt like it wasn't the best stroke that I put on it either. But looking back at it, you can see just how much more neutral that club path stays on the way through. And that is really important to getting that golf ball starting online. And I don't feel like I could have reached this point if I hadn't had the awareness that this putter allows me to. Overall, to sum it all up in one short statement, yes, still loving the putter. Yes, I would recommend it to anyone who's wanting to go get a SIK putter or SIK arm lock putter in particular. They're a great company. They've made an amazing product, and I cannot recommend it enough. Do you need an arm lock putter to be a good putter? No. Some of the best guys on tour are still using short traditional putters. What we do need, and what we've discovered through this last month and a half actually, honestly, probably closer to 2 months, what I've discovered is the importance of practicing your putting. If I'm here making that realization that I've got to practice to get better, so can you guys. And in the end, that's something that your local PGA professional is going to be able to help you with. They'll be able to see your putting, see what's going on, see your full game, your full swing, your chipping, any of the above, and they'll be able to help you. We're all here to try and help you guys get better at golf. That's our main goal. There's no alternative motive here, guys. We just want you to get better at golf. And that's our job. So if you're wanting to get better, the first thing I can recommend you do, go get a lesson with your local PGA professional. I'm coaching out of the Ridge Golf Course in Sydney at the moment, guys. So if you're wanting a lesson from me in particular, feel free to come past the Ridge. You can call us. You can even book online. But yeah, guys, if you found this video interesting, like and subscribe to the channel. We're going to be doing a few more of these. We're going to do a lot more technique stuff, a lot more beginner stuff, and of course the 5-Minute Fridays. If you haven't seen the beginner stuff or the 5-Minute Fridays, head over to the channel. You'll be able to see them straight at the top. But I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day and keep enjoying your golf.